Good people. What is up? What is up? What is up? Come on in. My times, Lord. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning to everyone as they come in. Blessings, 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 blessings. Sister Jackie, come on in, guys. Listen, today is going to be a good one. We have to get this word in. Good morning, Patricia. Good morning, Rakina. Good morning, Nakisha. Good morning, Yolanda. Come on in, man of family. Yes, I am back. We are back. Glad to be back. It's always good to see family, but it's always great to be back as well. So come on in. Nadine is in the building. My amazing wife is in the building. Ty's in the building. Pastor Jamal and Leanne, blessings to you guys. Love you guys. Calling you later, actually. Our family from Tennessee. Yes, I am glad to be back. Listen, I need you to do me a favor and share this. Brooke, listen. Hey, salute to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. I'm just gonna go plant another church on the other side of town. I'm just gonna let y'all have HQ. I'm just gonna go on and meander my way on over somewhere inside the loop and find somewhere else to lead after yesterday. Listen, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nikki. So good to see you, SNL. Listen, I'm not gonna. I have things going on this morning, so I want to get right to this. But I have to share this word with you. This is a timely word, and I'm going to tell you this now in case of those of you who do not stay on. I encourage you to stay on. It's not going to be long this morning, but we are in a time of prayer and fasting. This is an hour to seek the Lord, okay? And I want to tell you this. I want you to join us fasting both today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. Today, tomorrow, and Wednesday. There is a power that is resident whenever you give 3 days to God. If you give 3 days to God, I promise you this, He will give you eternity by 72 hours. If you give 3 days to God, seeking God, no, cut out all the other fluff. It's irrelevant right now. It's not even important. If you give 3 days to God, He will give you eternity within 72 hours. Riddle me this. Hosea 6:1-3 will unpack that for you. But also, we're going to be praying, we're going to be fasting. Prayer call is going to be every morning. We're going to go into this season declaring this is the mark of a brand new season. I'm going to unpack this over the course of these next 15 minutes right here. But this is a brand new season. It's a brand new season. We're not going to stay silent, fold our arms, bite on our nails, watching hell have its way. No, those days are over. Hosea chapter 6:1-3. So we're praying 6 a.m. every single morning on the prayer line. Join us. Yours truly will be on there tomorrow, followed by another building on Wednesday, leading this charge. All right. But listen, I want to get into something really quickly. The power to script new seasons. I want to deal with this mini message, something God gave me the other day. In prayer, the power to script new seasons. I need you to write that on the screen. I need you to get this in your spirit. This is what we're doing over these next 72 hours. We are scripting the next season. We are partnering with God to determine the outcome and the shaping of next season. It's not going to happen by happens. It's not coming upon us by happenstance. We're not going to sit back and allow everybody else and every other dark power to have influence over the coming season. No, there's a strong revelation and intentionality that we must walk in as believers so that we can experience days of heaven on earth. This is how it was supposed to be from the beginning. There's a pre-scripted plan for all of God's people. Eden was a prepared place for a prepared people. They were not meant to be surprises. When you walk in prophetic direction and when you build according to biblical blueprints and patterns, you can program tomorrow. He removes the mystery for his friends. The Father removes the mystery and the haziness and the cloudiness that surrounds your purpose, your mandate, your calling, your assignment, the hour, the season, the year. He removes the mystery. He causes you to see very clearly what it is that you're walking into. He won't hide these things from you because he can never expect for you to execute his will at a high level if you live ignorant or oblivious to what it is that he's expecting of you. Welcome to Morning Manna. The power to script new seasons. Acts chapter 1, verse 7 says this. Acts 1 and 7 says this. And he said unto them, it is not for you to know the times or the season which the Father has put in his own power. Which the Father has put in his own power. Times and seasons are in the hands or in the power of the Father. I need you to understand this. I put this note at the onset. We must realize that the seasons can be brought under God's power. New seasons, new days, and new hours can be brought under God's power. We learn here that the power of God has the ability to influence both times and seasons. These things are said to be in his hands. David said in Psalm 31 in verse 15, my times, O Lord, are in thine hand. My times are in thine hand. Deliver me from the hand of my enemies and from them that persecute me. I need you to understand this. When you live with the revelation that your times and your seasons are in the hands of God, the enemy will not be able to manipulate your days. He will not be able to rob you of what it is that God has planned for your life on the prophetic timeline of you walking in the counsel of God. When your times are in God's hands, it doesn't matter what is happening in the realm of men or in the realm of darkness. Guess what? You will continue to trek along the volume of the book and that which was written of you. But you have to take back the power of your seasons and the power over times that has been manipulated by darkness by way of ignorance. My times have been removed from the hands of darkness and placed in the hands of God. I need you to declare out loud that my times and my seasons are in God's hands. They're in God's hands. And it's not until you begin to intentionally remove the authority to be able to speak to and to shape the season that you are living with and walking through and be able to begin to put it back in the hands of God that you'll begin to start seeing God's desires. God's desires and God's power will flow freely in the life of those who live in according to God's timing. There is a timing that heaven has for you. And there is a timing and a rhythm that hell is trying to get you to synchronize with. We have to determine whose calendar and whose timing we will walk in synchronization with. This is not too much for 7 a.m. In the Father's hands are my times and my seasons. This teaches that you can birth a new season by partnering with God to see the desired change. It's in his power to do it. So how long you stay in that season of stagnancy, that season of brokenness, that season of leanness, and etc. is completely up to you. We have the ability to partner with God. Let me say it this way. We have been given the privilege to partner with God with scripting new seasons. My whole point that I want to build out through this is that we can partner with God to script new seasons. We must understand that times and seasons are in God's hands. My times are in your hand, O Lord. This should be something that you are praying regularly, because whenever your times are in God's hand, my days are in God's hand. What I am experiencing in this hour is under the influence of God's hand, which is always under the influence of God's heart. See, it's not until you begin to access God's heart that you'll begin to start being able to frequently experience the power and the privilege of living life under the influence of God's hand. See, many have been pursuing God's hand and not his heart, and they wonder why it seems like he's not answering prayers as he said that he would. But it's nestling up with the heart of God that begins to give you access to the hand of God. I was teaching on Thursday night to our team going through Transform You that faith has the capacity to move both God's heart and God's hand. God's heart and God's hand. It is always God's heart first and then God's hand. We cannot be a people who only pursue his hand, disconnected from walking out and living within the circumference of what's in his heart. Because what's in his heart is what you should have. What's in his heart is greater than what's in his hand. I don't have time to unpack that. That's going to take me down another vein. But listen to this. But whenever we begin to become intentional with partnering with God to script new seasons, because our times are in God's hand, watch this. We begin to dictate and sow into tomorrow what we shall see. God is giving his beloved the privilege to come into these intimate quarters with him and to begin to script a new season. This is what it means when it says that we are co-laborers together with God. We have the ability to co-create and co-script the tomorrow that we shall see. We must understand that the times and seasons are in God's hands and not in hell's hands. Many believers have given hell too much power, and you've allowed hell to speak more into the season that you are living with and to influence more the times that you're living with than you've taken the responsibility to do so. But this is what happens whenever you begin to be silent in seasons of shaping. This is not the time for you to be mute or cute during seasons of shaping and seasons of scripting. We will not sit back with our arms folded. We will not sit back biting our nails while hell is dictating the season that is emerging in our life. I need the redeemed of the Lord to open their mouths and say so. I put this note right here. This is the power that we must be ready to employ at the beginning of this week. Why is this week important? Because this week, the next president and administration will be named over America. With every new administration comes a new season. I need you to understand this. With every new administration comes a new season. I know some people last month was talking about it was the beginning of the new year on the Hebraic calendar. I understand that, and I bless those into that who walk according to that. I know some people operate in the January calendar for a new season. I bless and I respect you into that. Be it unto you according to your faith is what the Bible says. But I'm telling you this, regardless of whenever the new year starts, with every new administration comes a new season. If you do not believe me, ask Joseph. In Exodus chapter 8, verse 1, it says, and there arose a Pharaoh which knew not Joseph. Watch this. Joseph went from being favored to having zero influence overnight. Why? With the introduction of a new administration, it came with new level of restrictions for the children of Israel. They went from being esteemed and preeminent and celebrated and glorified to, guess what, being demoted overnight. There arose a Pharaoh, a king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. He immediately went from being one in position of power to being one who had been stripped overnight. I need you to understand this. Every new administration comes and begins to launch a new season. It doesn't matter who the candidate is. It won't be Biden no more. So guess what? There's going to be a new season. There's going to be a new administration. And watch this. As we are experiencing and navigating the transference of power because power is about to be handed over to another individual. The power is about to be handed over to a new party, to a new administration. In this embryonic phase, it's going to be critical that we are speaking into this new season what it is that we want to see in the coming season. We must speak into this transfer of power and dictate what the next 4 years will look like. This is why we are praying and this is why we are fasting. I need you to understand this. Somebody put this on the screen, because if you do not know, heaven is ovulating. Heaven is ovulating. There's an ovulation taking place in heaven where the eggs are coming forth, and it's important that the sower is sowing the seed. I need you to understand this. The seeds that you sow during this period of heaven's ovulation will determine the tomorrow that you shape. Heaven is ovulating. The possibility of pregnancy is at an all-time high. And what it is that you're speaking in this season is shaping what you will live out tomorrow. I miss you, G-Dub. I need you to understand this. Heaven is ovulating. Heaven is pulsating. Heaven is pregnant. And guess what? It is waiting on the seed to be sown. And whatever is sown into the womb in this moment will determine what the next 4 years will look like. I said all that to say this. You cannot be silent in this moment. When heaven is ovulating, it is attentively listening to its ears turned to the saints of God. This is what it means when it says, and God is going to and fro throughout the earth, looking who he can show himself strong on behalf of. There's a fertility of this hour that we cannot afford to be silent with. The sower soweth the word. The sower soweth the word. I need you to hear me. I don't care what other people are saying. Listen. Listen. These are critical junctures in history where power can shift and destinies can be aborted. I'm going to read my notes. We must rise up and partner with God to shape the coming seasons. We learn in the book of Daniel that the enemy is always working to try to subvert and to corrupt both laws, times, and seasons. See, because your heart can be towards God, but if you're not in sync with God, you will not live under realities of what it is that God has ordained for his children. I'm going to say that again. There are many genuine people who really, really love Jesus. They live a pure and holy life, but because they live disconnected from the revelation and they don't walk in the prophetic sequence of what God is doing in real time, not in November, real time, not on the 4th, real time, because they are not in sync with what God is doing. Because they lack that Issachar kind of edge. They don't know what they ought to do. They can truly love Jesus and still live under the bondage of hell, because you are not in sync with what God is doing in the now. God always operates in the now. I know plenty of pure people who have no sin in their life, but they still live under the thumb of what it is that hell allows them to enjoy, because they're out of sync with the timings of God. But the times and the seasons are in God's hand. And guess what? He has always, since Matthew 28:18 and John 1:12, he has always shared his power with his sons to give them the privilege to script tomorrow with him. Tomorrow will be, the next 4 years will be. I need you to understand this. This is no gimmick type of teaching. I need you to take this with all sincerity and allow the weight of God just to fall and rest upon this. If you're not trekking with me, just pray for understanding. I pray that Isaiah 11:3 becomes your reality. He makes you one of quick understanding. But listen, that you may discern the severity of this hour. You will push aside that plate. You will turn off that TV. Disengage everything else that's vying for your attention and your affection and lock in with heaven. God is giving you a window of time to script the coming season. In these next 3 days, we will know who the president is. But watch this. But in these next 3 days, we will have already determined the coming season that we will live with. There is a power in this. I need you to understand that heaven is ovulating. I need you to understand that heaven is fertile right now, and the words that you speak now. I need you to make plans to join us on the prayer call in the morning. I am going to pray decrees over you tomorrow that's going to shape the next 4 years. That whenever the enemy rises up against you, that boundary has already been established. I need you to realize that whenever you begin to start walking in dominion and in revelation, and you are current with heaven and what God is doing in real time, guess what? You can live as if you have no enemy. There will be an impenetrable force that will surround your life that hell can't even penetrate because you have proactively established a hedge in which hell cannot breach. This is why some people prosper. This is why some people advance. This is why others do not. It's not because of sin. It's not because they don't love God. It's because they do not have the fellowship with the mysteries that Romans 3 talks about. There's a fellowship with mysteries. There's a fellowship. That means there's a partnership that I have with mystery. I work with the mysteries of God. Jesus said out of his own mouth in Matthew 13 and 11, it has been given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom. Guess what? You cannot partner with mysteries that you do not know. There's a fellowship with mysteries. There's a fellowship with mysteries. You have to realize there's a fellowship, there's a partnership, there's a working with the realities of heaven. I can't find it right now, but it's over in Ephesians. Over in Ephesians, talk about in the fellowship of mysteries. But listen, that means there's a partnership that we have with mysteries. Help me, scribes, and get that on the screen. It's in Ephesians. I think it's Ephesians 3. But as we begin to partner with eternal paradigms, we can shape tomorrow. Those who live in eternity has influence over this temporal realm. I don't want to drift beyond where I need to be. But I need you to understand that this is the power that God has given to his sons. He's given unto us. Let me just boil this down to the simplest form and give you just the cliff notes. There's a power that God is given to his sons. 3 and 9, they said. Yes, thank you. How did I forget this one? Listen to this. Ephesians 3 and 9. And to make all men see what is the fellowship of the mystery which from the beginning of the world has been hidden in God who created all things by Jesus Christ. Watch this. It has been hidden in God. It wasn't hidden from God. It wasn't hidden by God. It was hidden in him, meaning only those who would walk in God would learn the fellowship of mysteries, would learn how to partner with mysteries that have been hidden from ages past. God doesn't hide anything from you. He hides everything for you. And if anything God has hidden for you, it's because he has reserved it for those who would passionately and fervently seek after him. And those who seek after him, they will be rewarded with these mysteries and the treasures that was hidden from everybody else who was casual as it pertains to the things of God. All right, you got me sweating, but I didn't preach yesterday, so it's all right. So here's the thing. These mysteries have been hidden in God. So those who walk in fellowship with God and do life in him do I live, move, and have my being. Watch this. Those who are hidden with God in the secret place of the Most High, under the shadows of the Almighty, they shall abide Listen, there is so many things that is available to the believer that abandons the distant relationship that hell would look to try to create between the father and his children. Those who know God intimately and walk with him in close proximity, they shall have their eyes open to eternity. They shall live from this realm. They shall live from this realm of eternity and have influence over the temple. That's the whole thing I want to get to. Like, we partner with God to employ his power to see the coming season be stamped by his dominion. I need for you to partner with God to shape the coming season so that it is stamped by his dominion. Stamped, Stamped. I need everything about tomorrow to reflect I do life under the influence of God's hand. My days and my seasons and my times are in your hand, O Lord. We're fasting for this. We're about to enter into a whole new place with God. We're not worried about who's not going, who can't go, and all the haters and all. Listen, I ain't got time to be talking about no goofy stuff like that. It's too much gospel to preach. I need you to realize, believer, there is resurrection power coming upon the coming season. You will suffer no lack, no death, and no defeat. If you give God these next 72 hours, I promise you, he'll give you eternity on a platter to enjoy by Thursday. And I said by Thursday. By Thursday. If you're sick in your body, you should be healed by Thursday. Whatever it is you've been believing God for, I dare you to seek God, and you'll have it by Thursday. Resurrection power. It is real. No hocus pocus, no games, no gimmicks, no hype. No. Reality. Heaven's reality. This is how you get it. Make plans to be with us tomorrow morning on the prayer call. We're going to be praying into this whole new season. And guess what? Here's the thing about it. Maybe I'll jump on here and talk about the election of God and teach you about this, because there's an election that's more important than the one taking place tomorrow. It's called the election of grace. Romans chapter 9. Jesus, we love you. We're going to shape the coming season. It doesn't matter who takes office. My times are in God's hands. I don't care about economic meltdowns. I don't care about other goofy political upheavals. No, my times are in God's hands. I don't know whose hands your time's in. My days are in God's hands. Hell will not have any say so in the scripting of my life. My days, my seasons, and my times are in God's hand. That's why this hour is critical. These next 72 hours are absolutely critical. You sleep if you want to. While men slept, the enemy sowed. The enemy can only sow while the church sleeps. No, I can't help everybody else. I can help me and mine. And we're going to serve the Lord, and we're going to shape the coming season. The next 4 years will not be at the hands of whoever takes the office in Washington. The next 4 years will be under the hands of God, and everything about my life will reflect it. That my times are in God's hands. All right. I love you so much. I think I got you the gist of these notes. I'm just going to read this in case I didn't. These are critical times in histories where power can shift and destinies can be aborted. We must rise up and partner with God for the shaping of the coming seasons to dictate the next 4 years, or else hell will attempt to intercept what tomorrow may hold. There once arose a Pharaoh that knew not Joseph, meaning that his season of favor had expired and he was demoted. in the eyes of the king and treated like every other Israelite who lacked favor and the spiritual intelligence to compel favor. There is a manner in which you can compel favor. You can command restoration or the heart of those who had rule. This also caused the children of Israel to fall out of grace with the Egyptians that they had previously been favored by. This shows also that favor is a shield for you and yours. It withholds much from happening. Hell wish it could have landed. Every new administration will come with a new season. It's in this hour of the handing over is happening that will determine one's status for the coming season. We must partner with God and employ his power to see the coming season stamped by his dominion. Sleeping now would be detrimental to the body's advancement. For we read that while men slept, Matthew 13 and 25, while men slept, the enemy came and he sowed tares. All right. So listen, prayer call, 6 a.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow. I saw someone posting, most graciously posting the number and the access code. We're going to be on there. We're going to be praying. We're going to be prophesying into this new season. This is a new season. Regardless of who takes office, our God sits on the throne. And we learn how to fellowship and partner with mysteries to be able to dictate kingdom expressions in our lives. All right. I love you so much. Seek God. Block time, 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. The number is right there on the screen right now. So you can go back through the notes, mother, and you'll see that. And the access code is on there. And listen, and tell your friends and family members they can jump on the call. We want this umbrella shielding as many people as we can. We're going to pray and prophesy into the morning. I'm praying all day and trusting the Lord. A day spent in God's presence, you don't know what kind of downloads you're going to have. But listen, I'm up for it. We're going to pin the number. Yes. All right. But listen, I love you. We're scripting tomorrow. God has given us the ability to partner with him. We're going to stand in the very counsel of God. If you never stood in the counsel of God, tomorrow, 6 a.m., you will. I'll carry you with me. We're going to stand in the counsel of God, and we're going to hear God's heart and his mind, and we're going to declare into the womb of the coming season what it is that we shall see. We will not be left behind. The devil is a lie. I love you so much. Have a phenomenal day. Fast. Liquids only till 6 p.m. After you break the liquids only 6:01, you can have no sweets, no meats, no breads. All right. Get you some broccoli, get you a couple of apple and a banana, and seek God some more. All right. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you guys soon. Blessings.